It's estimated there are 30 million golfers in the world, but even if you're not one of them, you'll likely know the names of those considered to be the best. People such as Americans Jack Nicklaus and Lee Trevino, Severiano Ballesteros of Spain, Australia's Greg Norman. Well, there is one Canadian who, if things had been just slightly different, might be on that list, but the odds are you've never heard of him. Moe Norman, a middle-aged man from Kitchener, Ontario, may be the best striker of a ball in the history of golf. He is fiercely proud that he's played the game, as he puts it, my way. But that may be the big reason that Moe Norman isn't rich and famous today. In the world of golf, there is no one quite like Moe Norman.
Where are you trying to hit it? Oh, to the target. Okay, get that on your mind. Everybody's got the ball in their mind, the average player, so it's tightening them up.
Norman has a passion and a unique talent for hitting a golf ball. And if you don't think he's good at it, just ask him.
I'm the best striker the ball the world's ever known. Not by my say. I don't believe I am. All the best players and best teachers will say, who's the best striker of the ball ever? Not the best player, but the best striker of the ball that can hit the ball 99 times out of 100 right on the knot, right on the nose.
Or ask Lee Trevino if you don't believe Norman. Trevino is undeniably one of the greatest golfers in history.
Come on, ball. Little more, little more. Now kick. All right, come on.
When you talk about Moe Norman, you're talking about a legend. And I'm talking about a living legend, because the public doesn't know Moe Norman. But you ask any golf professional, whether you're in Australia, or whether you're in your US, or whether you're in Great Britain, and you say, that's the Canadian guy that hits it so damn good, isn't it? And I says, that's him. He's a legend with the professionals.
Moe Norman spends his winters in Florida and summers in southern Ontario, moving from course to course, playing every day. Golf has made millionaires of men half his age with half his ability. But now, at 60, Norman scratches out a living in small tournaments or giving golf clinics.
Stroke where you aim. Stroke where you aim. Oh, boy.
Home for Moe Norman is his car, a motel room, and the golf course. Golf has been his life since he was a teenager. He's estranged from his family, never married, says he's had only 2 dates in his entire life. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, and never has. It's difficult to capture Norman's uncanny ability with a golf club, but at his home course, Golf Haven, an hour north of Toronto, hitting from about 240 yards into a crosswind, he puts ball after ball onto the green. Roughly the equivalent of a darts player hitting the bullseye with every toss. Norman doesn't have a scrapbook, but a pile of clippings records that he twice won the Canadian Amateur Championship, that he won 11 Provincial Opens and 6 Canadian Senior Professional Championships, and that he has 14 holes in one and 32 course records here and in the US. But Norman has also established a reputation for being odd, eccentric, and just plain rude. Lorne Rubinstein, a contributor to Toronto's Globe and Mail, is likely Canada's best golf writer. Norman considers most reporters nosy and stupid, but he does have time for Rubinstein, who's tried to find out what makes Moe tick.
That's the thing, you've never lost that, have you? Just the simple enjoyment of hitting the ball.
I should hit balls in play.
Well, what do you think about it? I mean, what fascinates you so much about it that you can be doing this for 45, 50 years?
Hit every ball solid. And
what's the feeling you get, the physical pleasure you get out of hitting the golf ball?
And straight, and hitting it still purer than anybody in the world. And still the purest striker.
He seems to have such a deeply rooted insecurity. His parents weren't wealthy, and they weren't even middle class. It was a poor home, and his parents didn't want him have anything to do with golf. As a matter of fact, I think he told me that his father buried a golf club of his in the ground so deep that he couldn't get it. But certainly that can make a kid paralyzed when he comes home and unwilling to talk to his own parents about what the thing that he loves the most. So the lack of encouragement must have hurt very, very deeply.
There's one story which tells you a great deal about Moe Norman. It took place in 1955 in Calgary, where Norman had just won his first Canadian amateur golf championship. He seemed to be on the threshold of a great career. In fact, the following year, he'd receive an invitation to the prestigious Masters tournament in Georgia. But on this day in Calgary, Moe Norman was so terrified by the prospect of standing up in public to receive his first place trophy that instead he went down by the banks of the Bow River near the golf course and he hid until they finished the ceremony without him. It was the problem that would plague Moe Norman for the rest of his career. In the late 1950s, for example, in his brief fling on the U.S. Pro Tour, Norman was leading the New Orleans Open with only 9 holes to go.
He started thinking about speeches he'd have to make, and he basically, you don't want to say he gave away the tournament, but it looked like he sort of lied down and something in him wasn't willing to go the distance. And people have seen that in other tournaments as well. In the 1963 Canadian Open at Scarborough, he was within range of the lead in very good shape after 3 rounds. And he's told me that all of a sudden I started thinking, I'm going to be the champion of my country. How can I talk to people? They're going to want me to make speeches. They're going to want me to do things. I can't do that. He was terrified of that.
One of the saddest examples of Norman's lack of confidence was his appearance at the 1956 Masters.
Can you imagine you're a kid back in Kitchener and you're setting pins in a bowling alley and you've just won the Canadian Amateur and one night he comes home and there's this invitation to the Masters. I mean, he goes from 10 below weather to getting down to Augusta, Georgia, and there's no better place to be in the spring than Augusta, Georgia. And to be Moe Norman, a kid from his background, teeing it up in Augusta in front of all those people at the most beautiful place in golf, it was a dream come true for him.
But in a field including many of his heroes, such as Jimmy DeMeritt and Sam Snead, Norman didn't even complete the first round.
The night before the first round, he got to talking to Sam Snead again. Like a writer talking to Joseph Conrad. And Snead offers him some advice. Well, Moe, all of a sudden, his deeply rooted insecurity again comes out. I gotta try what Sam told me. I gotta try what Sam told me. That's Sam Snead. Goes out and he hits 800 golf balls that night. Moe does. Just his hands get raw. So he's got to tee it up the next day in the Masters with basically raw hands. And after 9 or 10 holes, his hands were just too raw for him to continue. It shows you how deeply in need of attention the guy is. The night before the Masters, he would lose confidence in himself in the very unique swing, personal swing that got him there.
I think that if someone would have taken Moe under their wing, and I think that if they would have taken Moe and said, look, we're going to go play here, and don't be afraid, there is no telling what Moe Norman would have won. I think he would have won the U.S. Open. I think he would have won all the tournaments around the world. I mean, he is that good, and he's still that good.
Moe Norman no longer astonishes golf galleries and angers tournament officials by hitting balls off pop bottles. His trousers don't ride 4 inches above the ankles. He stopped drinking a case of Coke a day. But he's still a loner, preferring to carry his own clubs rather than have to talk to a caddy, either ahead of or behind the crowd. And he still prefers being with kids to being with grown-ups. In fact, even after weeks of filming, he wouldn't agree to an interview with us until we cornered him watching the Canadian Open just outside Toronto.
No bogeys.
At what point did you decide that golf was going to be your life?
When I was 19.
What did your family say then?
Nothing. They didn't give me shit. They never seen me hit a ball in my life.
Your family's never seen you hit a ball?
Nobody's ever seen me hit a ball in my life, my family. They were against me. Don't forget, back then, golf was a big shots game, an old man's game.
Yeah.
45 years ago, man. You hitting a golf ball, you little sissy?
Did you have a dream then?
Oh, no. I was too young then. No.
Did you have an ambition?
Not like today.
An
No.
objective?
I was flat broke. I used to hit you like the tournaments and everything. It's not like today. Today they're spoiled.
What do you mean?
Just what I'm saying. Everything's handed to them.
In what way?
Every way. Money, everything. I never had a sponsor in my life. I did everything my way. That's my favorite song. I did it my way. And I'm not ashamed one bit. My bad shots are better than these guys' good shots. And I'm not ashamed one bit. I did it my way, man, by work.
When you come out here and you see the kids who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and as you say, you believe that your bad shots are better than their good shots.
That's right.
How does it make you feel? Do you feel that you've been cheated in a way by time?
No, I was hatched too soon, I guess.
Norman hatched at a time when amateur golf was so Simon pure that it kicked him out for selling his prizes. Radios, TV sets, even toasters. Norman says he was broke then and needed the money. But 30 years later, he's still angry about it. He says the real reason amateur golf got rid of him is that he was just too good.
Prior to that, because I was winning everything, because I was wrecking amateur golf back then. I was making the guys look like dubs that shot 70. I was making them look like dubs. I was shooting 61s and 63s every day. The last year I was amateur, I had 9 course records. 4 61s the last year I was amateur.
I mean, you'd think that if a guy's shooting 61 or 63 every day, he's going to be a hero.
And they'd want you, but no, they didn't want me.
Certainly the associations may have been within their, what they call their legal bounds, or according to their charters, to do these sorts of things, but they didn't really encourage him. He was different. They didn't want anything to do with him.
I mean, this is a country club sport, and Moe Norman isn't a country club kind of guy, is he?
He's not a country club kind of guy at all. And you can imagine the associations all of a sudden at the last minute looking at this guy who's selling his prizes for money, thinking this guy's going to represent our country. We're going to try and get a jacket and tie on him. He's going to talk like he talks. We're going to do everything we can to get him off. There's no getting away from that atmosphere and that kind of discouragement of a player. And certainly coupled with Moe's insecurity, he would not do anything to help the situation either.
When you go over to the practice tee, and somebody invites you to hit balls the way they did the other day,
They always do.
what's the reaction?
Oh, they don't think I'm human.
But a lot of these kids,
I make it look so easy.
a lot of these 22-year-old kids,
I make it look so easy. I make it look easy.
but a lot of these 22-year-old kids don't know Moe Norman's name, do
not the
they?
kids don't, but the old guys do.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys my age.
But when you get out there and somebody says, hey, Moe, come on over here and hit a few, and you hit 100 balls.
I can't believe it, they're not.
Lee Trevino's approach may be radically different from Norman's, but like the kids, he too is in awe.
He talks about his mind being out there 400 yards.
Yeah, yeah,
And he talks about taking a day off occasionally from hitting his 500 golf balls,
yeah.
but reading about the kinesiology of his swing,
Yeah.
or the physiology.
What makes it tick? What were you thinking? Were you thinking negative, positive?
Yeah.
What were you scared of? I don't get into all that. I hit it and cuss it if it doesn't go towards the flag. That's what I do. And then my caddy cusses it too. So we're both doing it on the golf ball. But I think the guy's a genius when it comes to playing the game of golf.
If you could change one thing, if you could just change one thing about the way your life has gone, what would it
Oh, there's too many things to change.
be? Change one.
What?
Just one.
Have more money. Naturally. I'd have played better. I could have played better if I knew I was going to eat the next day.
What about shyness? Would you have changed that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Why?
Quickly. Because I knew it meant something. I didn't think that meant anything. All I thought meant was put the goddamn ball in the hole. And I did. You shoot 61 and go home, and I did. That's what I thought. That's all I thought life was.
But because you
But
were
beat
shy,
everybody's clock. Beat everybody's clock.
because you were shy, did it work against you?
That's all right. That's all right.
Give me an example
What?
of your shyness.
I just could. In front of you on the golf course, I could talk to you.
Yeah.
As soon as we got off, I couldn't.
I don't know that I'd want to try and change the guy, really. Maybe we'd lose that if we understood him too well. I try to watch the way he gets the golf ball rather than his mannerisms. It's as if I could have ever seen Glenn Gould play the piano, I would have loved to just watch him play the piano and perhaps disregard all his mannerisms.
Well, when you're on the tee, what's your mind doing?
Center of the fairway. Where's that target? Where's that little bullseye? That little target. I'm playing darts. I'm gonna hit the bullseye every time.
If I,
Little
st-
fairway.
if I stood out there, on
You better
18 at
spread your legs, it'll roll right through. Spread your legs, my ball at 260 yards, here it comes. You'd have to be on your toes. Here it comes at you. And right at you, not here at you, right there, right in the center. Or hit your here. Or take a bow, boom, one bounce, take a bow. That's what my ball would do. One bounce and boing, at 260 yards away. And it'd be right on you all the way. It wouldn't be hooking at you or feeding at you, right at you.